It may not sound like it may not look like it, or even may not feel like it. But this is one of the most exciting cars available in India at the moment. Also not just in terms of performance, but also in terms of the attention it is gathering on the road. The last 3 days I have driven this car, it has been like a celebrity experience. Quite honestly, because every single person driving on the road in any other car is basically checking out this car for what it is. This is the Ford EcoSport, and what we have here is the 1.5 liter diesel version, the top of the line version here. And our primary focus for this video review is the Ford Sync feature. On the face of it, it looks like a fairly simple feature, but while it works very well, you will get through some initial setup which is a little complicated for some people. We'll just give you an example of how the entire thing works. Primarily, this is your center console here. You have multiple connectivity options here, as well as navigation and a number pad, and these are your select keys. On the steering wheel is a cluster of keys for call connect, disconnect, volume up down, as well as the voice control for the system. Now, I have paired my iPhone with this particular Ford Sync, and now let us see how it works. For it to work, I need to switch on the system and switch to phone. It's searching for the past paired phones. And there it says. There it says my iPhone is connected. Now, you have some options here. Well, the interesting bit is you can't work the phone feature unless you have to switch on, unless you're switching on either the radio or the auxiliary in or the CD. Now, turn that volume off. Here are some options. So when I press on the call key here,
sync.
Call VM.
Calling VM.
And there you go. My other phone is ringing. So it's basically the iPhone that is calling the other phone. Now what you can do is, you can press here to disconnect. There you go, the call stops. As simple as that. Now the voice command also works very nicely in other ways. Let's press here again.
Sync.
Play USB.
USB.
Play all. There you go, the playback starts. Now let me just run you through some other features on this particular system, the Ford Sync. You have a huge amount of settings to customize your experience. So let me go through the sync settings. You can turn your Bluetooth off, so in case you want to drive the car along with the Ford Sync feature, not bothering about connecting to your phone or getting distracted by all that, you can turn this off. You can set up more devices from here. So now I brought this thing up because not that I want to restore the sync to factory settings, but to give you an example of how the yes and the no options work. Now if you see on this screen, you have yes, you have a blank option here, you have a blank option here, and you have no in this case. Now there are certain cases when all four have basically got options which you need to either select. Now in this case, this key will work for no and this key will work for yes. Now, getting back to the main menu, you have your sync applications that you can download on your device. You have the audio settings for equalizer, sound, etc. Fairly detailed settings. Even RDS works for compatible radio stations. Now, clock settings as well. So basically you can turn off the 24-hour mode. Display settings, measurement unit. You have your kilometers and miles. We usually work in kilometers. Multiple languages as well. So what you do get here is a variety of options. Now let's go to sync media and see what it's all about. There it goes. It goes into the last selected source for playing back music. Now the primary idea of showing you this video was to see how the Ford sync feature works, and as you saw, it works fairly neatly. What we can't show you here is the call quality between the two parties when you are sitting in the car and speaking via the Ford sync system and the other person's on the phone somewhere else in the world. The call quality that we receive in the car via the 4 speakers and the 2 tweeters, essentially a 6 speaker setup if you may, is excellent, and the volume for that is controlled through the central volume control for your music system. The other party, yes, the call quality for that party, the receiving party, mostly is very clear, no issues at all in terms of reception. But yes, there are certain times when the other party has complained that the voice is either cracking or it tends to drop for certain seconds. Now that is something we can't really blame the Ford Sync for, because that could be a network issue in that particular area. Now in terms of usability, once you get through the initial setup of pairing your phone, it's fairly simple to use, as you just saw. Now when you pair your phone for the first time, it will ask you if you want to sync your contacts onto the device, onto the system. Now how it worked is when I said call VM and it did, it was because when the iPhone here was connected to this thing right now, as you were seeing the video, it immediately updated the contacts list from the device to the sync feature. Now if you happen to add any contact to your device after you have used this thing for the last time and you start using it again, it automatically syncs the new contact on the device. Now I can show it to you here how it works. These are all the phone features. You can also dial a number from here. You can enter the number through this numpad, though I don't think it's very comfortable to do that. You can redial the previous number, and here is your phone book. So you have all your contacts here. You can search by the first number, name, whatever, alphabet, and you have your call history here. So it shows you all calls with. There you go. These are the outgoing calls. Text messaging, yes, it reads your text messages, so I will just send myself an SMS and show you how it works. So let's show you how that thing works. Let's just SMS the number. Let's send an SMS. It will only read text messages, so let's send it a text message. And there we go. The message is sent. Let's see if this works. Well, actually no. It did not detect a new SMS coming in. Or did it? Let's see. This is one way of sending preset messages from this device. options here. Now let me try sending another message. So if you can see, the message is now received on my iPhone. However, this thing has still not detected it, though I cannot confirm why. So these are little issues that you will have to kind of deal with for a system as intricate and as complicated as this one. So it says no text messages available. Now I don't know why, if it's not working properly with this device, because it should have. Apart from this little niggle that you just saw in this video, it's essentially working very nicely. What we will do is we will test this little feature, this SMS readout feature, with other devices as well, Android and BlackBerry, and see if it's a particular problem with the iPhone version. Now let's just get you through to how to use this device, this particular feature. That's the little screen there. This is all your control setup. Now I had explained that these are the basic categories that you need to figure out. This is your navigation system, select, volume, the number pad, and your select keys here. Now with this setup and this setup, essentially what you need to do is, while it works very well for the most part, there is that little niggle that you need to look away from the road. Now if you are standing at a traffic signal with the timer showing you 20 seconds more till the light turns green, this thing, you just feel a little hurried when you're using this thing. Now the ideal setup for something like a Ford Sync feature would have been a touchscreen. Had this thing been somewhere here with the touchscreen feature and a few keys, it would have been the perfect setup. Maybe with the next update Ford could think on those lines. At the moment, you need to use the system with a little bit of patience, because it just has a few extra steps than what we ideally would have wanted. But as you saw, it works very well for the most part. No, it did not read out the text messages, but that could also be a settings issue. We'll go through that again and verify. But as you saw, it dials a number very easily. It's understanding our pronunciation very well. It played back music off the USB. So it's the voice control feature basically works well. And that's one of the biggest things that Ford could have done, Microsoft could have done, for something which, well, most voice navigation systems, most voice assistant systems don't really work well for us. This one does, and full points to Ford for doing that for us.